Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to Captivating Speakers and my segment here. I was hoping a few more people would show up. Normally, we'd have this at the Glendale Community Center, and I would see all of you in person, which is so much better, isn't it? Is anyone introducing me? John?
Pardon?
Is anyone introducing me? There was going to be somebody in here to introduce me.
Well, yeah, but he's muted, so I will take that role as well. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker today is a volunteer. The best way to thank them would be to provide honest and useful feedback with the session evaluation at the conclusion of our session today. The tech master, that's me, John Hardowitz, will drop into the chat towards the end of the session the evaluation. If you miss it, don't worry, we'll follow up with an email at the conclusion of LACE. If you are not speaking, please remember to keep yourself on mute to avoid background noise. We have a fun and interactive session planned today. If you want to see the speaker and make the presentation smaller, drag the speaker window to the left. Thank you. Now let me introduce our speaker.
Sorry, I'm late.
Are you ready? Oh, not sure who that was. Chanti Niven is an international award-winning public speaking champion, speaking coach, author, and creator of the acclaimed Captivating Speakers program and Captivating Kids. Please welcome Chanti Niven.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining this session this morning. One of the most important things for me is that I see a bunch of smiling faces. I don't want to see you looking like you're sucking lemons. It's as important to be a good audience as it is to be a good speaker. Do you agree? Your hands? We as speakers feed off our audience, don't we? And if you're sitting with a bunch of people looking like, they're about to attack you, it's kind of frightening. Even I, who've been speaking for so many years and love being on the stage, when I am dealing with an audience that look like they've been sucking lemons, it's hard for me. So do me a big favor and at least look happy to see me. All right, let's kick this off.
Audience that love sucking.
What is going on? We've got, who said that? Okay, I'm going to share my screen and I hope that you can all hear this because I'm going to be talking about to start off with, what is captivating? And as I do that, I want you to be thinking to yourself, what is captivating to you? What is captivating to you?
What do you find captivating?
Captivating people, just people that stand out in a crowd.
Being yourself and that full essence.
It takes you into
Captivating, you have to be funny.
takes your breath away. Like
Exciting!
if you're open, that's what it is. Not being closed off, being very open.
Vibrant!
Anything that just really is unnormal.
To captivate something is about being right here, right now.
Outgoing! Outspoken!
To have a good laugh and
You have to be funny.
Not just browns and grays, beiges,
confidence, very kind, someone or something that captures your soul. Caring.
Being able to communicate.
That's captivating. You had something that grabbed my attention.
How many of you would agree with some of those people? Those are people I'm sure you recognize, Hollywood and Venice Beach, people talking about what they find captivating. Now, what I'd like you to do, if you'd like to speak at any stage, just raise your hand. You can either do that through clicking on the raise hand option, or you can actually physically raise your hand and I will see you. What would you like to share with me about what is captivating to you, about a speaker specifically? Anyone? And if you are joining me, please turn your camera on. I like to see faces. Anyone? Nobody? Nobody? Yes, Kevin, unmute yourself.
Having a message that the audience wants to hear.
Right. Having a message that somebody actually wants to hear. We'll talk about that a little bit. Anyone else? No. Okay. All right. You don't have to participate in the beginning. I get it. here's one of the biggest things that prevents you from being captivating, and that is the fear that you'll be made a fool of. How many of you have this problem? I know.
All me.
I know that I've had this problem, and I started off when I started my speaking career, really being so self-conscious. And if you want to be a captivating speaker, probably the biggest thing that you need to learn, and that is to get over yourself so that you can get into your audience. I'm going to repeat that because it's important. To get over yourself so that you can get into your audience, right? So if I say I'm feeling self-conscious, who am I thinking about? Who am I thinking about? Me, right? Am I thinking about my audience? I'm too busy thinking about myself. All right, that makes me awkward. You can tell when somebody's overly self-conscious in the way that they enter a room, that they walk, that they stand, that they fidget with their hands. Their voice shows it. It shows in so many different ways because self-consciousness reflects out. I always say to people, your insides are hanging out. And that's not as crude as it sounds. It simply means that your state of mind and what you feel about yourself is going to show. The audience are going to see that. So, and you might be asking me, well, how do I stop that? How do I stop these feelings of insecurity and self-consciousness? And I'm going to share a little bit of that during this talk today, but we only have a limited bit of time. So what I thought I would do is I would share 10 traits of captivating speakers. Now, and then I'm going to focus on one of them and specifically, but 10 of them that you could actually write down. Right. Well, I don't know, sometimes people find it difficult to write notes and to watch the speaker. So whichever way you're going to find easiest, whether you write it down or whether you just wait for the recording to come out, I could also type it into the chat.
Can you please stop for a minute just to get a pen?
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
Okay, are you guys ready? So number one is obvious. I'm going to put it into chat as well. So if you don't want to write, but writing will help you to remember, is to be prepared. Duh, you might say, Chanti, but that's ridiculous. We all have heard this. You've got to be prepared. But you guys have been to a lot of Toastmasters meetings. How many speakers are actually very well prepared? If you see them reading off notes, they ain't prepared. All right? If they forget their lines, they're not prepared. What does it mean to be prepared? I want you to think about this, guys. Stop booking speeches if you're not ready for them. I would rather you present the same speech over and over and over again and know it well and be prepared, know it backwards, than for you to present one ill-prepared speech. Preparation is important. It shows your audience that they matter to you. How do you prepare? Number one, don't ever learn it off by heart. Never. Learn the roadmap, but not the words, because you'll trip up on words. Now, that's a whole training class that I actually provide for my students, is memory methods and how to remember and present a speech or a workshop that is memorable and that you can captivate your audience. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because we obviously have some Zoom bombers. How does that happen? But that is memorable, and that you are able to just follow the roadmap and you won't need any notes at all. Any notes at all. Now, the moment somebody brings out notes, I find that distracting. What are we looking at? We're looking at the notes and we're watching this person read. So no notes. You need to be able to tell stories and just follow this simple roadmap. The second one, number two, is pumped or primed. Now, this is something that I teach all of my students as well.
Like Amazon Prime.
If you walk
Like Prime Messi.
If you walk into a room cold, and what I mean by cold is you just get up and stand in front of a room and present your speech without priming, you're not likely to pump out any form of energy. I was dealing with a client yesterday, coaching him, and he was very down. He was very depressed. He's just gone through a really hard time and his whole energy was just depleted. I could tell it was just absent from him. He had no energy. So I took a few minutes with him and I said, I want you to imagine your favorite place. Where is it? And he said, it's at the beach. I said, tell me about the beach. Tell me what you love about the beach. He said, I love the feeling of sand beneath my feet. I love the way the wind whips over the water and the way the sun sparkles. I love the sun on my skin. I love playing in the water. And as he was sharing this with me, guess what was happening to his face? It was literally transforming in front of me. And I was going to share my screen and show you what he looked like in the beginning of the performance or in the beginning of the coaching session. And then as he was sharing his favorite place, how his face lit up. But I'm sure you guys can imagine it made a big difference. Let me give you some tips to pump yourself up before a talk. What I do is I put music on. If I'm going to any presentation, I put my favorite music on in the car and I pump it out and I dance and I sing and I pump myself up. I know this is corny, guys, because it's really going to age me. I go use Eye of the Tiger and I pump myself up. And even before a presentation, my energy is pumping out so that I can bring that energy to the audience. Now, if you guys can't do that, you're sitting in the middle of a Toastmasters meeting and you can mentally pump yourself up. You can actually be imagining yourself walking out there with confidence, and make sure that your posture while you're waiting to speak is open. Your posture is open and confident, because what you present in your body is going to present itself on the stage. Really important. All right, the next thing depends on how you pronounce it, is to be present. Present. That means right in the moment. If you are too prepared, and I've just told you you've got to prepare, but if you are too prepared and you've got your speech running through your head, when I'm looking around a Toastmasters meeting, I can always tell those people that they're not listening to any of the other speakers. They're just mentally rehearsing and thinking about what they've got to say, looking at their notes. You're not well prepared if you have to do that. You're doing that last minute Scrabble. You're not present. Then when you get up there, you're so busy again thinking of your speech that you're not present with people. You're not responding to your audience. You're not looking at them for feedback. Because again, remember, it's not about you, it's about them. Are you with me? Give me a wave. There we go. Thank you. All right. Now, presence is also felt by the audience. I want you to think about, sometimes people, I can tell that they've been trained by coaches, and I'm thinking specifically in the presidential debates. I remember the one between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Remember when she came out and she was waving at people in the audience and going, and these little gestures? She was connecting with people in the audience. I know that somebody taught her to do that. So it's important for you to make eye contact with your audience, to smile at your audience, and to make your presence felt. But look happy to see them, for goodness sake. It's amazing how people can respond to you and how captivating you can be if you seem happy to see them. All right, the next one. Power-filled. I didn't say powerful. I said power-filled. What is power? This is one thing I hate about Zoom, because I'm not hearing your responses, and it's what I should be doing is getting you all to have a little chalkboard and you could write your responses or something. What is power?
Yeah, maybe because you're talking too much.
I'm supposed to be. What is power? And where Okay, we have a Zoom bomber. You know what that means, right? Somebody's come in and just here for the purpose of interrupting, and this is something, by the way, as speakers, that we should be prepared for, whatever happens. Power-filled. So let me give you an example. When you walk to the front of the room, how do you walk to the front of the room? How? Do you mince up to the front of the room, trying hard not to capture any attention? You should be striding out there with purpose. Look at the way that confident people walk. They take big steps. Their arms are swinging by their sides. They look filled with power. Their posture shows that power. We've now pumped and primed yourself up. You need to reflect that in the way that you walk into the front of the room. That is how you take over a room. Remember that you bring that power into a room in the way that you stand and the way that you walk. All right, you ready for the next one? Proven. What does that mean? Hey, Kevin? What does proven mean? What does proven mean? You've heard some speakers tell you about this. It's, I wasn't asking you, Mr. Interrupter. When somebody's proven, it means that they're speaking about something that they know. You know, the word proven comes from the time where they had armor, and the only armor that was proven was armor that had actually been struck, that had been tested. So for me, proven is much more than your credentials. Dr. So-and-so. It doesn't matter if you've got credentials in an area. I want to know that you've experienced things. What have you been through? Where were you and where are you now? So we want to hear your story and what you've been through. You've been proven. Okay, that's again another whole subject. Next one is obviously passionate. How do we tell passion? I've seen speakers get up and say they're talking about their subject with as much passion and enthusiasm as a wet fish. Actually, fish are meant to be wet. A limp fish, right? So they just seem to lack that passion. If someone's excited about something, doesn't it make you feel excited? I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And I think people can tell that. They can really tell that I'm passionate about this business, about helping you shine. I don't want you just to be speakers. I want you to be captivating speakers. So passion comes from inside. It's like it's internally driven, an engine that provides the fuel. You need to show people this. It needs to show in your face and again in your body. All right, this is one that you get. So it's in your, it used to be in the first manual, second or third speech. Purposeful, speak with purpose. If I don't know what your purpose is, I won't know what I'm doing there. And a lot of times people are trying to share so much information that they kind of lose the path. So a purpose is to have a very clear and defined path. And I'm going to give you a little example that will illustrate this very well. Sometime in my life, I developed an interest in landscaping. I really particularly was interested in Japanese landscaping because I loved the real thought that was put into a Japanese landscaped area. And there is a garden in Japan, for example, and what the Japanese do very, very well is when you walk into a garden, they provide you a vista. The vista is your view, but it's something that they want you to walk towards. So that would be in the speech. The parallel would be your purpose. So you walk into the garden, and then in the distance, you'll see a waterfall, something really beautiful that they want you to walk towards. Never mind, do they provide you the vista? Because some people are still going to go, yeah, I'm going to go and watch or go and look at something else. They then provide you a path, and they give you stepping stones, equidistant stepping stones that you would walk towards that vista. And on the way, they give you beautiful things to look at, right? But what's very, very interesting is that each stepping stone is absolutely equidistant so that you can start walking in a pattern. Boom, 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 boom. But at some point, they will take one stone and place it out of kilter. Why do you suppose they do that? Let's think about it for a moment.
Variety.
Variety, absolutely. But they're kind of taking you out of kilter so that for that moment you have to look down because you're trying to look where you're walking. You don't want to trip up. And when you look down, they put something they want you to see right there. Now, when you're thinking about your talk, you have to go along a path. It's got to be structured to your vista. That is your purpose. That's where you want to get. But you have to provide some elements of surprise. Don't be too predictable. If you're predictable, people get bored. So always think about what's the element of surprise. And what am I going to introduce that's going to wake them up? It's going to make them look down or look up or look wherever you want them to look. Remember, you are the one that is, maybe it's not the right word to use, but manipulating or controlling the way the audience goes. You have to have them in the palms of your hand. Another P. Notice I'm using a lot of P's today. This is another obvious one. If you speak, you need to be persuasive. Now, in Toastmasters, we used to learn about, you have the persuasive speaker, and it's almost separated from other aspects. You've got the inspirational, motivational, educational. You need to be persuasive at all times. If you're educating people, you need to persuade people to absorb that information. Why is it important to them? Tony Robbins, who's known as the why guy, always says you need to know your why. But your audience also need to know your why, and they need to know why they should be listening to you. So persuasiveness is very, very, very important. And again, this is a huge topic that I could expand upon, how to be persuasive. And some of the items that I've shared already, being passionate is persuasive. All of these things are persuasive. But being persuasive, you need to be fully persuaded. If you're not, your audience won't be. Okay, here's something maybe you didn't expect. Here's my little I'm just waiting for myself to make a spelling mistake. You know, what are those two words? Pictorial prosodic. Okay, so I had to have something unexpected because you've got all these, yeah, I heard that one before, heard that one before, heard that one before. So here's my little stone out of kilter. I can tell by some of you frowning, you don't know what it is. Some of you might know what it is. All right, pictorial means we don't think in words. We don't think in abstract. We think in concrete imagery. We see pictures. And if you're not painting pictures in people's minds, you're not captivating. Create imagery, and you use that with your language. When I was speaking about my client on the beach, could you feel the sand beneath your feet? I want you to imagine that for a moment. Sitting on the sand and just pushing your bare feet through the sand and feel what it feels like. You can take people to a place where they experience things and they visualize things, and that's very, very, very powerful. So you need to be able to do that and do it very, very well. Now, I run a whole course as well on how to simplify and create visual images, concrete visual images, by being creative and using simple objects, like, for example, a mirror or a pen or a paintbrush or whatever it is, to use it as an example or as a concrete thing to attach to your message. You'd be surprised at how amazing and how absolutely effective this is. Just simplified, I did this in a class once with kids, and I gave each one of the kids a little item, and I said, now you're going to give a message from that item. And they had to really sit with it and think about it. And one little kid got a shoe, and her message was, I have a soul, but I cannot speak. Sorry, I have a tongue, but I cannot speak. I have a soul, but you stand on me every day and walk all over me. Still, I support you. Right? Isn't that powerful? Just using a simple little method like a shoe. I want you to practice this skill every day. Just use concrete objects and think, what could this object teach me? What lesson could it provide me? This is such a big subject. I wish I could go further on that one. And the last one, personal. Personal. What does personal mean? Well, obviously you all know what it means. It's about you. Now, I just said in the beginning, didn't I, that you have to get over you so that you can get into others. But the message is coming from you. Now, the biggest enemy to being captivating is for you to want to appear to be important in other people's eyes. Because when you do that, you fail. I remember I once went to a talk and the guy stood up and said, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Well, that did grab a bit of attention, but then he continued with what seemed to be a litany of boasts, that he'd been to the top schools, graduated Harvard, all the accomplishments that he made. Not once did he share anything, any form of struggle. And I looked around at the audience Nobody looked impressed. People had switched off. I think a couple of them had expressions on their faces that showed me they didn't really even like him very much. Think about why. He might have accomplished all those things, but he didn't show me his struggle. People want to hear about your struggle. They want to hear about you inside, your insecurities, your vulnerabilities. No, I didn't emerge from my mother's womb saying, hear thee, hear thee, hear thee. I was actually kind of shy and self-conscious. In fact, the first time I stepped into his Toastmasters meeting, I had to hold onto the lectern for dear might because my knees were wobbling so much. I was terrified and very self-conscious. And I eventually learned through a lot of practice and kept on showing up, eventually learned how to be a little bit more confident. And then in my own training, I eventually discovered some secrets, which I will share with you. I'm going to be giving all of you a free copy of a book, The 7 Secrets to Crafting a Captivating Speech. And that's more about actually crafting the speech. So I will share more with you than I'm giving you today. But we're going to do an exercise now that we've got sort of to the almost halfway mark. What I thought I'd do today to challenge myself, because I never learn what it is that I'm going to speak about. As I said, I work on a framework. And then I look at my audience and I think, based on their responses to different things, where should I place my focus? Where in the garden do I want them to stop? So I've decided I'm going to stop on the little surprise element, the pictorial prosodic. Oh, the prosodic part I didn't explain to you, did I? What is prosody? Because the two fit together. Prosody is the melody and the rhythm of your voice. Your voice, see, imagine it like a song. So it's the pitch, the rate, the tone, the timbre, the pauses, the emphasis, all of those things that make your voice interesting to listen to. If you speak with a monotone, we all know what is going to happen. I often share in my talks that when I was growing up, I had a history teacher who would have been an excellent hypnotherapist. She could put anybody to sleep in a flat minute. She had one of those monotone voices, but it was just, I don't know what it was. I'd sit in her class and my eyelids would immediately just go boom. And I would sit there holding my eyeballs up, just trying so hard to stay awake. And it was impossible. As a result, history was history for me because I just couldn't grasp anything. She was brilliant in that she knew history, but she wasn't able to present it in an interesting way because she didn't understand what you guys in Toastmasters refer to as vocal variety. But prosody goes a little bit further than just learning about pitch and tone and rate and all of those other things. It goes a little bit further. It thinks about the sound of words and how a word sounds. So for example, if I say the word gentle, or I say the word gentle, soft, smooth. All right, I've got to be thinking of the effect, and it's how it lands that I've got to be thinking about. If I'm talking about having a long day, I'll say a long day. Or I said I went quickly, quickly, right? Start thinking about the sound of your words and how they land. Also remember that you are having to change it up. And I always tell people you need to build up energy, bring it to a peak, and then bring it down. Bring it to a peak and bring it down. You don't want people that are pumping energy all the time, right? So I just want you to think about the words you choose and how you use them in that aspect. This is a whole workshop, so I can't share too much on this. So for my focus today, I'm going to work on the picture side. On the picture side. And we, lucky enough, had so few people in this workshop. When I used to present at the actual college, I would have full houses. So I don't know what happened here today, but I'm going to ask each of you to take a minute to make some notes, and I want you to describe your favorite spot. I'm going to give you literally 30 seconds to describe your favorite spot. But I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. All right. I'm going to actually do a bathroom break. And you guys are going to get to take notes. And then we're going to comment on how you can actually improve that pictorial aspect of your speaking. Take me to the scene. Just take some notes down and think about how you're going to present your little 30 seconds. Your favorite spot. I'm back. All right. Some of you are still writing. Okay. Now, I know the hardest part when I'm dealing in a workshop, especially when there's just a small group of people, is to get volunteers. So I always say I'm looking for a volunteer, otherwise I'm going to give a voluntold. I'm going to tell you to come on up and do it. So that if you're feeling nervous and a little bit stressed, don't. Make a choice today to just step out of your comfort zone. And who cares what people think about you? The greatest freedom I ever had is when I stopped caring about what people thought, because that freed me to think about them without that additional what they think about me. Okay, who is ready to start? Otherwise, I'm just going to start picking out names. And John, you're not free from this just because you're hosting.
Well, then could you repeat the question? Because I was busy on the chat.
Okay, so all I want you to do is it could be describing something you eat, describing something you've seen, your favorite, I said your favorite place, or something that you can bring to me in very vivid visual terms. So I don't want some sort of abstract thing. I want you to share something with me. It could be anything. As I say, it could be your favorite food and you can describe the taste of it. It could be your favorite place or where you'd like to be. Something that's in your imagination. It doesn't matter. But I want you to practice the skill of painting the picture. So I'll let you think about that for a minute, John. Susan, would you like to try? Okay, you've got to unmute.
Unmute button.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about being more descriptive in my presentations and using more descriptive language when you were talking. I thought about like maybe going to Japan when I went to Kyoto and be more descriptive about how beautiful everything was and why I was so impressed with the beauty. There was lush greenery, there was trees everywhere. The gardens, when you walked around, were incredible. They were well kept. The people were gracious, they were respectful, and they looked in your eyes and they bowed. It was a place that was enchanting because everything was so beautiful and the people were so wonderful when you approached them.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, Susan, please don't, anything that I say, by the way, guys, don't take any of this personally, because it's really coming from a place of my heart, wanting you to improve, and I don't have the time to give you all the praise that I'd love to give you. I'm going to, you remember PI, praise, I'm going to work straight to the instruction.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of us will provide some preamble. Today I'm going to talk about or give an excuse or whatever. It's called preamble. I say strip the preamble.
Oh.
What you would start off is with straight away. You're in Japan. All right, straight away, bring us into Japan.
Yeah.
I arrived at this airport at whatever place, or I walked into this garden in Japan, shed my shoes and walked on the soft green grass, and then start sharing how it felt, the people bowing to you, all of those things you need to bring to life for me. And how I could describe this is you're in a movie and that you're describing to us that are blind what you are seeing. That makes sense, Susan?
Yeah.
Makes sense? Good. So don't explain what you're going to try and do. And a lot of us try to, it's almost as though we're trying to distance ourselves from the project. Go dive straight into it. And some helpful things that you can say is, I want you to imagine, or come on a journey with me. Or let me take you back. I have a particular speech where I say the year 1787. Come with me in a time capsule to the past. So do those kind of things because you want your audience to be present with you. Now you've got to do a really good job of describing what it was that you saw and what was special about the place, the cherry blossoms or the whatever it was that was special to you. Okay.
You want me to go again? Oh, okay.
Okay, so just practice, do a little bit of it now, do something.
When I arrived, I was walking through this garden and I saw this beautiful lush garden. There was flowers everywhere. The colors were just amazing.
Stop.
And
Stop.
Yeah.
Now you're not going to talk past, we're going to talk present. Remember we said when we're into the present? So
Yeah.
you can say, I traveled in the past. Now come with me. Just try that now, present. Walk with me in these gardens. The flowers, look at those flowers over there. Just try that. Try it in a very present way.
Okay. Into the garden. I want to show you everything that I envision in this beautiful garden. I see the lush greenery. I see the flowers. And with all of that, I could feel the presence and the living energy coming from the trees and the flowers. Don't you feel it as well? It's invigorating. I could feel it. Don't you?
Susan, you did a great job. Can everybody agree that that was just a jump above what it was in the very beginning? When you're talking about something, it's not so personal, but when you're talking to us and bringing us in, drawing us in and saying, don't you feel that? You could even use things like inhale the air. Could you smell that? Try those techniques. Okay, practice that more, Susan. Okay, I'm going to mute you. Lisa, are you ready? Oh, you can try.
Okay, I'll try. So I'd like to welcome you to my home. I have high ceilings, but there's one particular area of my house that really is my place of calm. I have a L-shaped couch, tan, kind of a little fuzzy furry, and it's a little saggy one spot because that's where I go and sit. And I have pillows around me and I get my warm blue and white fuzzy blanket and I wrap it around me. So when I have those days where I feel like a lot of us feel insecure or just a little lost, I get my little spot on the couch with my blanket over my head and I sit there and just decompress and try to lighten my mood.
You did a brilliant job, Lisa. You really did. What I really liked about your talk now is that you were feeling it. Could you guys get that feeling from her, the way she was actually feeling it? It was very tactile, very kinesthetic. It was in the body. Now, the only thing that I could say for you to improve, because it was really a great job, is remember to involve your audience in some way. Just say, do you have a favorite blanket? Ask them a question. Do you have a favorite blanket? I do. And when I snuggle under that blanket, I feel so cozy and warm. Where's your favorite place to break away? Do you see what I mean? The kind of questions you ask. Remember that it's a conversation. Your audience might not be talking, but they're participating and you need to include them as much as possible. Got it? Good job. All right, Kevin.
Come with me on my journey to my favorite place in the house, a room that is highly customizable to the audience, to the message, to whatever it is I want to speak about, where the lighting is perfect or can be modified to be absolutely perfect with multiple cameras and a fantastic sound system with soundproofing. Whenever I want to speak, I come to this place. Whenever I want to listen to a fabulous speaker, such as Chanti, I come to this place where I can relax, reflect, and be fully engaged. And lately it's gotten a little better because my little kitty is now sleeping on my lap.
I like it. Okay, so what was good about that is that, I mean, obviously you shared your favorite place. You did it with, I really liked your tone of your voice because it was engaging and you had a smile on your face. And then I really liked the end because you actually physically, visually showed us the unexpected thing. That was the cat on your lap. You know, I actually started a train. I mean, apparently now everybody does this, but I was running workshops where I was wearing my pajamas and then, but just dressed from the top up because this was all that was important. And we actually started a group called the Pajama Bosses. So, you know, we don't know what's happening below the screen and you showed us. I mean, it was kind of scary, but at the same time, it was really engaging and good. Okay. Is there anyone else in the room that wants to actually give Kevin, based on what I've said now, to a couple of you, that you think you could offer him in terms of just one nugget for improvement? Anybody here like to offer something? Nope.
Well, I had a question about it looks like model cars on the wall behind him. And it seems like it's not a background because when he moves, it stays there. It's a collection, I think. Somebody's collection.
It's all real. And my shelves are movable. I can change the background to whatever I want it to be.
I like it.
Not a virtual background.
I like a real background because the virtual backgrounds cut out half your hair and weird things, right?
Yes.
Okay, Kevin, you did a fantastic job, but just another suggestion, that is employ more of the senses. So remember that you have more than one sense. And I can tell that you're a very logical thinker because you went straight to the point of certain things, the functionality of it. So I need to see, and you said you can move things around. And so I understood that part, and the purpose of what you have this room for, it's multifunctional. But I want you to share a little bit more with me. I mean, maybe there is a smell to the room. You know, I'm right outside, there's a jasmine bush that has fragrance that drifts in, or maybe there is a sound that you use or whatever. Just bring some other senses in. Remember, the more senses that we engage, that we bring our audience into, that they can actually feel, that gives them a sense of where you are at this moment. That if I'm perfectly still, for example, I can listen and I can hear a trickling of water from a water feature just outside the window, or the fan whipping on the ceiling. All right, so those are the sort of things that you can use. Julie, if you absolutely want to vomit and I pick you, I'll let you pass, but I think Julie can do this. You got this, Julie.
Place in the world is snuggling in bed with my cats. It's nice and warm. They start purring and everyone's happy and settles in for a good snuggle at night.
Nice. Everyone loves their bed. I think we all do, especially when times are tough. Okay, Julie, let's get straight into it because we're going to be running short on time in a minute. What I'd like you to work on introducing is, because you really did a good job with your voice, feeling relaxed. You went into a slow legato, long words, and I could feel that it was lazy. And your cat is, again, the sensory thing, and just running my hands over his soft fur. And perhaps if he's purring, you could even go, make a purring noise if you can. I don't know if anyone can do it here, but purr, purr. My cat purrs and I can feel the vibration under my hands. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I see.
So
Yeah.
the more sensory you become, the better. You know, you could be saying things about your soft sheets and how you luxuriate and stretch your feet out in the soft sheets. Do you all get the picture when I say this, right? Pictorial means building a picture, building a movie. Okay, here I'm going to be, Julie, you can mute yourself again. Mina. I'm glad you gave me an easier name to pronounce because I'm not sure how to pronounce the first name. Mina, can you hear me? Okay, if we're not going to get an answer, we're going to move on. So Gerald, are you there? Gerald?
Mobily right now. So
Okay. Gerald, we can't see your face, so we're going to have to just trust your, sorry, what did he say? Is he available, not available?
not available.
Not available. Okay, no problem. I think some people are multitasking. Janice, are you able to talk?
I prefer not to.
Okay. Sananda?
I'll give it a shot. I'd like you to come with me to my favorite place in the world, a cabin in the woods, where you can hear the birds chirping and the sun's rays penetrating through the trees. I'd like you to walk with me through the trail in the forest, as you can hear the dry leaves crackle under the feet. Thank you.
Nice. I like that because I did feel the forest there. Good job. Good job. And yeah, I don't know if I can add too much to that, other than the fact that maybe, and it could just be a sound thing on Zoom, is that I had to strain a little bit to hear you. That was beautiful. Need to, are you able to talk?
Yes, my internet is not that great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would like all of you to come to walk with me. And that walk was yesterday only. I was walking, I decided to take a different route. And to my surprise, it was so beautiful. It was heavenly beautiful. Right at very small canopy of trees, the wind was blowing, the air, the crackling of leaves, the flowing of air, and the smell of eucalyptus was just mesmerizing. I was walking, I just looked up at the end of my canopy that I saw the sky was pink, purplish, grayish, and sun was going down. It was like a photo for me. Somebody has clicked a picture and put it in front of me. I stood there for a few minutes, closed my eyes, because I wanted to get all of it in me. I opened my eyes. I see birds going home. It was so serene, slow, subtle, that I carried it with me yesterday and even today. And I hope you enjoyed my journey with me. Thank you.
Beautiful. And you did a great job with that, using all the elements that we just spoke about. Good job, Nitu. Okay. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Tuan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you want to try something?
Okay, let me see if I could turn on my video too. Give me 1 second here. Guess not. It's not letting me turn on my video. But please let me share with you my favorite place in the whole wide world. It's actually a beautiful golf course on the island of Maui. Normally, you know, when you picture golf courses in Hawaii, you see this beautiful plush green course. But ironically, this was a public course. So it was not nice and beautiful green as we would imagine. There were spots where it was a little bit brown here or there on the greens, okay? However, it was right next to the beach. You could hear the waves crashing onto the rocks. You could feel the wind in your hair, the humidity. You could see the palm trees, okay, swirling in the air. And the best part was I was with friends golfing with them.
Nice. Good job, Tuan. Paul.
Yes. Okay. Thinking about your question, where my favorite place was, I couldn't think of a physical location, but I'm thinking about mostly my family, actually. They say it's cliche, family, home is where the family is. I think about my children who are at an interesting age. My daughter's a high school senior. She's applying for colleges. My first son is a sophomore. He's thinking about relationships. My youngest son is just still in upper elementary, but he's thinking mostly about video games. I'm thinking about maybe my favorite place is a quiet place where I don't have a lot of these distractions. But I think about it more and more, and I realize that no, that's not right. I'm throwing my family under the bus. I realize that just hearing them talk, hearing them share their life together, that is when I'm happiest, and that is my favorite place. I just like hearing them, even though they might complain a lot, even though they might fight a lot, they're still talking and they're engaging and they're including us in the conversation. And really, I think that is my favorite place in the whole world. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Paul. You have a really lovely voice. And I liked the fact that it was different because you were talking about your family. The difficulty in the short period of time that you have is to bring out some of the personalities. And so I'm going to just recommend, if you're going to be talking about your family, is even put on a few voices. This is what people forget, is that we're actually almost providing the movie for people. You've got somebody saying, oh, leave me alone. Don't touch me. Mom, dad, whatever it is. You've got all those noises, the cacophony of family. Somebody's laughing. Somebody's putting the tablecloth off. The cat's jumping up on the chair. Whatever it is, but you can be describing and bringing us into the scene, all this craziness, everybody's arguing, grandma's got a sour look on her face, grandpa's chuckling, rubbing his belly, whatever it may be. But do you see what I mean, how you can create a little image and just take a snapshot? It's Thanksgiving, whatever it is, the day, and describe. And just say, there are times that I just want to escape the noise that is my family. But then I think about it. And there's no place that I'd rather be than at the table with my crazy, loud, noisy, argumentative, passionate family. Right, Paul? Good.
Yes.
David? No problem. David?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can. You're a little soft.
Okay. Is this better?
Yes.
All right. Walk with me along the Peters Canyon Trail to my favorite spot, overlooking a marshy area. Do you hear that? It's the cacophony of birds in the trees all around us. I can feel the breeze. Wait, did you see it? There's a flash of blue, a flutter of wings in the bushes below us. It's a western bluebird. Perhaps the bluebird of happiness.
Nice. David, that was beautiful. Very, very good. And I love the suspense. Just one tiny tip for you, and that is describe before you ask. So in other words, instead of saying, do you hear that? Because none of us knew what we were hearing. Maybe we were all hearing different things, right? So you could say the cacophony of bird song competing, and then say, do you hear that? So that we now know what we're hearing. A flash of blue and feathers flying. Did you see that? Right? So just describe first that you are taking us to your picture. Otherwise, we're going to get our own picture. And then when you describe what you're seeing, we're going, oh, wrong scene. Thanks so much. Noel.
Right here. Can you hear me?
There we go. Okay, do it. We've got very little time, so we've got 30 seconds.
All right. Join me in this very exciting adventure called office work. As I walk in the hallway and my black shoes touch the soft brown carpet, I can smell the coffee aroma. And I hear the office rooms bustling, printer churning, and the fax machine working. And I'm so excited to work on a Saturday morning. Back to you.
That was absolutely brilliant. It's just getting, don't you all agree, that was fantastic. He used so many of the devices that I spoke about today. The element of surprise, come with me. We're expecting anywhere but the office. He used a little bit of sarcasm. It was unexpected. But we were taken into that office scene with all of the sounds that were there. I'm sure you'll all agree, right? Bezalahi. Yes, no. Okay, we can't hear him, so we're going to move on. I believe now, I hate Q&As, and I'll tell you why. I think it kind of diffuses the power of a person's talk. And I think if you're going to do a Q&A, all of you, have your Q&A in the middle or towards the end, and then finish off on a high point, because you've got to finish off with the key takeaway, what you want people to remember from your talk. And Q&A just can take you all over the place. Is there anybody here that would like, though, I'm going to stick to your Toastmasters format, to ask me a question regarding anything today?
You just mentioned that you had some workshops, and did you want to tell us a little bit about your workshop, especially the one on the pictorial?
Okay, so first of all, I've just put up my website, and if you go to my website and you just scroll down a little bit, and there's a place where you can actually fill in just your name and your email address for the free book, The 7 Secrets. I've put it up there. You can get that, The 7 Secrets, and once you've got your email address to me, I can send you some information regarding my workshops. I will say this, I don't spam anybody. I don't send you tons of stuff so that you have to block me eventually and start avoiding me at Toastmasters meetings. I don't do stuff like that. So it's only if you're interested in getting more information. Yes, I, as you guys all know, used to run a training center, and people would come physically in person. I was very resistant to changing over into the Zoom format, but I've been working on it because, you know, I actually have a little bit of camera shyness. I find myself getting kind of awkward, mostly because I'm seeing my own face. But I've been learning and growing in this area, and learning how to develop content in this format that is as valuable. So I will be running my basic program, is called the Rapid Results Program. It's all the best of the best, so that you walk in one person and walk out another person. And when I say another person, your most optimized you. And you really get results. I've never once had any person walk in that doesn't come out with a dramatic improvement. It's called RRP, or Rapid Results Program. I'm going to be running another one shortly. Another one that from today's class that I'm going to be and planning for a little ahead is running one on the creative side, how to be more creative. Because if you want to stand out as a speaker, you really have to stand apart from other speakers. When you're learning through Toastmasters, you tend to learn in a very structured way. How do you, as a speaker, stand apart from all the rest? And so I'll be helping people with these creative ways to do so. And I'm going to be running a short course, but something that will provide a lot of juicy content. And then my favorite workshop is working more on the prosody that I mentioned just briefly. That is learning on how to improve the quality of your voice, the timbre and the tone of your voice, and then how to use certain techniques. So for example, a verbal pattern, how to use emphasis, how to use all of these things together to create magic with your voice. And it's powerful. You can literally hypnotize people. You can create content that is so magnetic and make yourself so charismatic just through the use of your voice. Think of Martin Luther King, great example. His speech was almost poetic, but there are many other speakers that I can refer to now who use their voices so effectively. And if you want to know one of my favorites that demonstrates a lot of the skills that I believe are important, perhaps he's very dramatic example. And you don't have to believe the content if you don't want to or not, because he is an evangelical preacher. But write this name down. I'm going to put it into the chat here. His name is Bishop T.D. Jakes. And then the talk that you must look at is the power of, I think it's the power of a single thought, or a single thought. So I should have capitalized that. But anyway, look for Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he talks about the power of thought. But what you will see in that is how he uses these ebbs and flows, that he rises and drops, and he brings up energy and then he brings it down, that he uses a lot of repetition, that he uses a lot of rhetorical devices, descriptive devices, short sentences. He bangs that message home in such a powerful way. And if you watch that, you can incorporate some of that into your speaking, because do not speak like you write. Do not speak like you write. It's a tragic mistake. Okay, any other questions?
We actually need to close this link very, very soon so the next one can open. We do have an action-packed back-to-back day, unfortunately.
Okay, no problem. If you've got questions, you can email me as well, but just send in the thing onto my website and we'll be in communication, and anything that I can help you with, I'll be glad to help you with. Thank you for joining me today. Please give me some feedback as well. I'd like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming today. We have an action-packed day, so I encourage you to sign up for the rest of your sessions today and knock out your officer training. Thank you, and I will see you again very soon.
Okay, so click on the survey link and we'll see you in a few minutes in the next class.